There is an undeniable truth throughout everyday life. We will continuously need to confront the vacillations, difficulties and feelings that life brings. Anyway, emotionless way of thinking has passed down to us. 7 strong standards to assist us with controlling our feelings and appreciate existence with tranquility. Also bliss, so be ready to observe the video until the last seconds, since the insight you are going to experience is really extremely valuable together. We will investigate these standards from unemotional reasoning. What's more, figure out how they can be applied to our day-to-day lives. You will not just increase a more profound comprehension of emotionless theory, yet additionally have the open door to go up against each test with strength. What's more, certainty go along with us on this excursion to control your feelings. What's more, form a more joyful life. Be that as it may, before we start, remember to stir things up around town also. Ringer buttons to not miss any satisfied rule. Number 1, separate boost and reaction. The idea of emotionlessness presents a strong thought about the potential for reforming how we handle our close-to-home responses. It underscores the critical differentiation between the upgrade and our reaction to it. Rule number 1 accentuates the presence of a psychological whole among occasions and our feelings, or on the other hand, responses to those occasions. Letting our emotions is fundamental. Not consequently, furthermore, genuinely emerge after an occasion, yet to figure out how to isolate them first. We really want to perceive that each occasion happens freely of our perspectives. An occasion isn't fortunate or unfortunate. 100% of the time it's simply an occasion. In the wake of perceiving the improvement we have, a decision in how to respond rather than automatically responding. Major areas of strength for with feelings like displeasure or tension. Apathy encourages us to control our reaction. This includes thinking. Also, taking into account what is happening. All the more normally, envision you're driving out and about. What's more, abruptly another driver cuts before you. Without utilizing their blinker in this present circumstance, the upgrade is the activity of the other driver. Cutting in, without flagging, a programmed and close to home. Reaction may be outrage anyway. As indicated by unemotional way of thinking, you can isolate the improvement and the reaction rather than flying off the handle right away. You can stop and think about why the individual did that. Maybe they have a dire explanation or didn't understand isolating the improvement. What's more, the reaction assists us with keeping away from outrageous. Furthermore, programmed profound responses. All things being equal, we can go with more astute decisions and control our feelings. This assists us with having a more joyful existence also. Accomplish inward harmony in any circumstance. Applying rule number 1 to our day-to-day routines can make us more understanding, acquire a superior comprehension of ourselves. What's more, foster expanding close-to-home control. We can carry on with a more joyful and more agreeable life by knowing how to isolate the improvement and reaction. Following unemotional way of thinking. Rule number 2, draw in your fortress. The idea of draw in your fortress is a significant, furthermore, strong standard in emotionless way of thinking. Internal care addresses the psyche of a human, where all considerations, feelings and life-forming occur as indicated by emotionless way of thinking. At the point when we create and safeguard our inward care, we can confront any test tranquilly also, without being crushed areas of strength for by feelings. This stems from the conviction that our psyches are the locus of control in our lives. Furthermore, the wellspring of quietness and bliss. A solid brain is a vital element in controlling feelings. This doesn't imply that we don't feel feelings, but instead our capacity to self-make due. Furthermore, not let feelings administer our choices. This rule urges us to develop tolerance. Furthermore, level-headedness in all circumstances rather than responding imprudently. When confronted with challenges or clashes, we ought to depend on areas of strength for us to objectively go up against them. Taking part in your inward care additionally includes assuming liability for dealing with your own brain and feelings. This incorporates perceiving when we are major areas of strength for encountering feelings. Furthermore, tracking down ways of dealing with them in a controlled way, in a daily existence loaded up with strain and difficulties. Rule number 2 urges us to utilize areas of strength for us minds to sanely confront these challenges. Furthermore, not let them make us shaky. Participating in your inward care is one of the significant stages to building profound control. Also, joy in day-to-day existence, it stresses the significance of fostering a solid, also, normal inward stronghold to confront each circumstance. Envision you are in a circumstance where you really want to answer a significant email from a client. You have finished the email and are prepared to send it in any case. Unexpectedly, you get an email from the client with basic and irate substance. Rather than responding rashly by answering to the email out of resentment, you stop briefly, take a full breath to quiet your psyche, and afterwards center around composing an expert also. Consistent reaction. This way you don't allow feelings to direct your choices. What's more, keep up with persistence and objectivity in settling what is happening with the client, rather than answering rashly by answering to the email out of resentment and dissatisfaction. You decide to stop briefly to perceive your feelings and take full breaths to quiet your psyche. At the point when we practice rule number 2, in our day-to-day routines, we can think of ourselves as becoming more quiet in each circumstance. We are not cleared away by prompt feelings, furthermore, can confront existence with a solid and patient mentality. This assists us with building profound control also. Bliss in our lives. Rule number 3. Recognize the trigger. We frequently can obviously see negative feelings like indignation, tension, trepidation, or on the other hand, bitterness. Anyway, there is a more significant stage, which is to recognize the genuine reason for these feelings. This includes perceiving what is happening, or on the other hand, occasion that set off these feelings, as per emotion-less way of thinking to manage our feelings. We want to grasp the causes behind them. This reveals insight into how our considerations, also comprehension of our general surroundings, can influence our mindset. At the point when we take part in distinguishing the causes, we make the way for mindfulness and understanding. We pose ourselves significant inquiries like, for what reason do I feel as such? Or on the other hand, what is the genuine reason? These inquiries assist us with acquiring a more profound understanding of ourselves and the circumstance. One of the huge advantages of recognizing the causes is that we have better command over our feelings. Rather than allowing feelings to direct our activities, we can decide to respond more intelligently, have the opportunity to think prior to acting. Furthermore, keep away from incautious responses. This standard applies not just in negative circumstances, yet in addition in regular daily existence, it assists us with seeing all the more obviously how we cooperate with our general surroundings. By distinguishing the causes, we center around what we have some control over our responses and conduct. In each circumstance, assume you find yourself in a circumstance where a companion has caused inconvenience with threatening words rather than moving irate. Immediately you distinguish the trigger as your companion's words also. Comprehend that you have no control over others. You choose to keep even-tempered, to have a smarter reaction by applying the distinguish the trigger rule. You have perceived how you connect with everyday circumstances rather than allowing feelings to overwhelm you. Have zeroed in on what you have some control over, your responses and conduct in testing traffic circumstances. This assists you with staying cool-headed. What's more, a feeling of control in your day-to-day routine. Rule number 4. Delay and relax. Stop and relax. That is one of the main principles in unemotional reasoning, to assist us with controlling our feelings. Furthermore, fabricate a more joyful life in our regular routines. We frequently experience distressing circumstances that trigger compelling feelings. So how might we adapt to such minutes without allowing them to direct our choices? Rule number 4 is the response at the point when you feel yourself made up for lost time. Serious areas of strength. For in feelings, make a basic, however compelling stride, interruption, and take a full breath. This not just assists you with making a second to think, yet in addition assists you with controlling your feelings. Stopping is a way for you to stop briefly, not act or express anything at that time, It's a snapshot of poise to keep away from incautious activities driven by quick feelings, which you could lament later. Pause for a minute to ponder the outcomes of acting affected by feelings. Then, at that point, take a profound and slow breath center around your breath. Furthermore, feel the air entering and leaving your body. This full breath not just assists you with unwinding genuinely, yet additionally loosens up your psyche. It's a method for taking yourself back to the present, rather than allowing your psyche to pursue negative contemplations or then again, feelings in vision. You are in a significant conversation. Furthermore, confronting solid resistance from partners rather than answering right away, respite and take a full breath. Profound breathing assists you with remaining even-headed. What's more, pay attention to your associates. At the point when you talk, you show persistence and understanding. Thus, the conversation turns out to be more useful. What's more, improved arrangements can be reached in an apathetic way of thinking. Incorporating this training into life helps us create mindfulness and the ability to appreciate people. On a profound level, we become more receptive to our feelings. What's more, can answer with goal instead of prompt response. This training assists us with exploring troublesome circumstances with more prominent poise, intelligence, and control rule. Number 4, assists you with staying away from hasty choices affected by feelings that you could lament later. It likewise assists you with turning into a supervisor of feelings as opposed to being constrained by them. Keeping this guideline will assist you with building internal quiet. Also, lucidity in your everyday existence work on the nature of your life. Furthermore, make you a not entirely set in stone person rule. Number 5, live in understanding to delights. Furthermore, difficulties of life. Emotionless way of thinking isn't just about controlling feelings in everyday life, yet additionally about living a really cheerful and significant life rule. Number 5 instructs us that when we acknowledge the impermanent idea of life, embrace its delights and difficulties, we can accomplish a condition of close-to-home fulfillment, as indicated by apathetic way of thinking. Joy is a significant piece of life in any case. It shouldn't make us subject to it rather than allowing bliss to overwhelm our lives. Unemotional way of thinking urges us to comprehend that bliss is brief and wild. We ought to appreciate satisfaction when it comes in any case, be prepared to acknowledge when it blurs. This helps us stay away from disillusionment when joy vanishes. Furthermore, keeps a calmer perspective. Life is constantly loaded up with difficulties and hardships. Furthermore, unemotional way of thinking doesn't energize us to stay away from or, on the other hand, dread these troubles. Rather, we ought to confront them fearlessly. That's what Stoics' trust challenges are, a characteristic piece of life also. We can gain from them by confronting these difficulties smoothly and calmly. We can become more grounded and develop unflinching soul in vision. You are having a long and distressing day at work. What's more, you have invigorating designs for the impending end of the week anyway toward the day's end. You get a call illuminating you that the end of the week plans have changed also, can't be completed as initially arranged. At first you might feel disheartened and pushed, yet, rather than blowing up or miserable, you figure out how to appreciate life in another manner. You can choose to attempt an alternate action, or then again invest energy on taking care of oneself and unwinding this way. You are not constrained by negative feelings. Nevertheless, have a more joyful and more significant life in spite of startling difficulties. Living and working as per emotionless theory not just assists us with controlling our feelings, yet additionally assists us with making an equilibrium among joy and troubles. This assists us with keeping a quiet and clear psyche, prompting a more joyful and more significant life rule. Number 6. Practice negative representation. In our regular routines, we frequently will quite often stay away from circumstances that could turn out badly. We need to keep a feeling of safety and solace. Also, thusly, we attempt to take out or avoid any expected dangers anyway. Emotionless way of thinking proposes an alternate viewpoint, confronting difficulty with certainty and mental planning. The objective of this rule isn't to make nervousness, yet to encourage appreciation. mental preparation also persistence throughout everyday life. At the point when we envision negative circumstances, zeroing in on the details is significant. What's more, feelings related with them, this assists us with seeing the genuine worth of what we are encountering. Furthermore, never underestimate those things rather than living in the sentimentalism of the amazing iffy imagining. Cynicism isn't intended to make us restless in any case, to set us up intellectually for any circumstance. At the point when you have envisioned the challenges that may emerge, you won't be stunned when they come. Since you have arranged intellectually, this assists you with confronting existence with more tranquility. Furthermore, not let feelings control your life. Besides, this rule assists us with zeroing in on things we can control rather than squandering energy. Also, time stressing over things past our control, we figure out how to focus on our abilities. Furthermore, activities that can achieve change. This assists us with keeping up with control. What's more, progress emphatically throughout everyday life, for instance. Ponder what is going on where you lose your employment and a decent pay. What's more, you feel stressed and questionable. Then, at that point, you ask yourself, what will do assuming I'll lose my employment? You begin considering alternate courses of action. Furthermore, how to manage tough spots. Subsequently, you become more appreciative for your current work. Furthermore, can confront any difficulties that life presents. Rule number 6 spotlights us on what we control, assisting us with keeping up with control. Also, progress decidedly throughout everyday life, rehearsing negative representation, not just makes us more grounded in confronting affliction, yet in addition makes us more thankful. Furthermore, more joyful mentality in our regular routines. Rule number 7 spotlight on what you have some control over. At the point when we live, there are innumerable elements. What's more, occasions that we have no control over. This might incorporate the climate, the assessments of others, the conditions around us. Also, numerous different elements. Significantly, we frequently invest an excessive amount of energy. Furthermore, energy stressing over these things that we have no capacity to change, as indicated by apathetic way of thinking. We are urged to zero in on whatever might be possible, really control our activities, responses, and how we face what is going on. By zeroing in on these things, we can answer. Furthermore, adapt to each circumstance. We can pick how we face difficulties and troubles. We can change our activities also, responses to oversee and get to the next level ourselves. This not just assists us with keeping up with control, yet in addition permits us to profoundly appreciate life more, a significant piece of zeroing in on whatever might be possible. Control is perceiving the constraints of our capacity to control. We can't change outside conditions in any case. We can change how we manage them. This assists us with staying away from superfluous stress over things that can't be changed. Envision you had arranged an end-of-the-week excursion with your family and were exceptionally energized anyway. When the excursion day shows up, the weather conditions out of nowhere turns terrible with weighty downpour that is inadmissible for an outside excursion. Rather than being disheartened and exhausted, you can make a pleasant indoor outing experience. For example, coordinating an outing on the lounge floor with delightful food and tomfoolery games. This way, you can in any case appreciate quality time with your loved ones without letting the terrible weather conditions influence your mindset. Life can become complicated and loaded with challenges. In any case, apathetic way of thinking instructs us that zeroing in on what is controllable is the way to opportunity and satisfaction. By applying this rule, we can really appreciate life. Furthermore, make it worth living. Living together as one with nature isn't only a reasoning, yet in addition an excursion to self-acknowledgement. What's more, investigating the intricacies of life. We are welcome to embrace vulnerability. What's more, challenges as any open doors for development. What's more, personal growth. These 7 apathetic standards have shown us how to control feelings, become smarter. What's more, form a more profound association with the regular world. We've had a fascinating discussion about emotionless reasoning and how it can transform you presently. I need to welcome you to go along with us in spreading this way of thinking. Furthermore, building a more certain local area, assuming you found this video supportive, Make sure to the like button, also share it with your companions. This will assist with spreading apathetic way of thinking. Furthermore, carry inspiration to additional individuals. Remember to leave a remark beneath the video to tell us your considerations or remark. Urge me to tell us you're prepared to apply these 7 standards to you. Continuously support our feed by buying in. Furthermore, turning on warnings to not pass up new and important recordings. Much obliged to you, and see you in the following recording.